the 2 ties under my belt and a couple of new arrivals I'm thinking about doing, decided that before I start anything else, I'm going to build me a pirate ship. Only this one's going to be a space pirate ship. Back in 2016, over at Scale Model Addict, we did a Secret Santa. And I received this from Bad Grendels as my gift. And I decided, after looking through some of the rest of the stuff in my stash, that I'm going to build the Arcadia. This is the Hasegawa Kit. Claims to be in 1/1500th scale. I'm not too worried about that part. I just think it's going to look very cool when I get it put together. As you can see, most of the plastic is in various colors to cut down on the need for painting, if not eliminate it almost completely. But we're going to have some fun with this one. Got some gold filigree for the hull that is also raised on some of the pieces to make it easier to place. I mean, you can see the detail is packed all over this ship. I mean, we're going to have fun with washes and stuff to bring the detail out. We even got little Cosmo Wing ships, as well as multiple skulls and crossbones. The guns will elevate individually. Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Okay, work has begun, as you can see. This is the beginnings of the bow section of the Arcadia. As you can see, there are some supports sticking out to take on pieces that will be attached later, as well as this section here. With the help of the micro weld, this is probably going to be a fairly quick build construction-wise. Alright, as you can see, I've got a lot more construction done here. The back section's been added, as well as the gun decks. Now, one of the cool things here is there are polycaps under those gun deck pieces, but they're actually mounted in the pieces the gun decks sit on. I just thought that was an interesting little design feature. Also opted for the ram blade rather than having it closed off. Right now I've got this intake section gluing up with some electrical tape in play to help minimize the seaming. This thing is moving right along. As you can see, work is progressing on the superstructure. Slowly but surely, the aft section is taking shape. I love the detail that is packed into all these pieces. I mean, you've got simulated wood grain in the deck, the gold filigree that's going to get decaled later, coming along very nicely. Alright, as you can see, progress has progressed nicely. More of the superstructures in place, as well as the final wing assemblies. Definitely an interesting looking ship. Slowly but surely we're getting there. This is steps 1 through 8. Alright, as you can see, we've got some more progress going here. The main engines are now in place, as well as the wing pylons. And I don't know how well they're showing here. Let me roll this over a little. The engine support bits. We also have our skulls and crossbones now in place on the bow and on the sides, as well as the first of what I like to call the anime fins. Those I freely admit to having super glued in place rather than using the micro weld. That's mostly so that they'd bond quickly. Alright, at this point, you can see all the superstructures on, minus 2 of the little fins, but at this point I'm probably not going to put those on. She's waiting for for first part for all of this to dry, and then it'll be time for decals. See you when those are done. Alright, at this point, the decals are all on. Sealed the decals, did a little bit of weathering. We're going to call the Arcadia build done, with a couple of little fiats I'll get into in a second. Sorry, caveats is the term I'm looking for. But, as you can see, we have one lovely blue space pirate ship. The gold decals go over raised details on the ship. First caveat I want to go over here, or thing I want to point out, is on these side sections. Anybody building this kit, I would recommend putting these gold decals on before you put on the cabin pieces. Otherwise, you've got to try to fit the hole in the decal around the cabin pieces. As you can see, I did all right with it, but it can be a bit of a bear. This side actually turned out better on those. Had the thing slip out of my hand and lost the tip off this one and the tip off this one. So I wound up, to make things symmetrical rather than try to glue the tip back on here, I just cut the tip off there. Anime ships and their pointy fins. All in all, decals went on really well. Guns don't want to lay flat at the moment for some reason. But decals went on really well. You've got decals for the windows. The red lights there, I just went ahead and painted rather than using the kit supplied decals. The detail came out really well with the black washes, especially on the skulls. It makes them look a little less toy-like. I've got a couple of gaps here, but I can justify those almost as seams on the ship. I mean, this thing is, after all, intended as a spacecraft. This entire back plate, all the details there are supplied by decal. You can see they're sucked down over the detail itself. Decals did work really well. I went for the paper flag option to make this look a little more, for lack of a better term, realistic. And as I sense that I am starting to ramble, I'm going to stick some stills at the end of this thing and call it done.